Japan is insane in the best and weirdest ways.
You have all the regular movies, and then you got all the porn stuff up there.
Here are 12 things in Japan that blew my mind. So people always talk about how safe Japan is. I have to agree with that statement. Tokyo has a population of 37 million people. If you just count the city area, it's 14 million, which is in itself crazy. And the fact that they have such a big city with so many people be so safe, to me, is nothing short than a miracle. I don't think there's anywhere else in the world that has a city that big where you can say is that safe. Places that come to mind that are just as crowded are like maybe Bangkok, Istanbul. These places are safe, but Japan is still number one. And I think about the reasons because apparently maybe 60-70 years ago Japan was not a safe place, but over time the culture has developed into this very safe environment. Experiencing it for myself was truly amazing because here in Poland I already feel a lot of peace leaving my stuff everywhere, but people still steal bikes. But in Japan I felt the most safe that I ever did in the world.
It's a collectivist culture. What your family thinks and what everybody else thinks is very important. There is a societal shame in people that commit crimes or do things that are outside of the norm. And you are encouraged to follow the norm of what everybody else is doing. Even when I was in Vietnam and Thailand, yes, they are safe countries, but still in the back of my head, I wasn't like 100% sure of leaving my camera while I film. But here in Japan, I have no fear that something's gonna happen to my stuff.
In Japan, they just have literally iPhones just laying outside. Nobody steals here, so it's cool. You can just leave it. Even the cables, they just leave everything up.
One of the craziest things about Japan is the entertainment scene there is crazy. If you can think about it, no matter how disgusting it is, Japan probably has it. Japan is one of the world's leading consumers and manufacturers of porn in all of the world. Just walk into any of these porn shops. It's crazy how many DVDs or how much porn that this country has made. But they also have like the weirdest stuff. They have whole entire sections based around poop porn.
Here you got like regular Blu-ray, you got Saw 3, you have all the regular movies, and then you got all the porn stuff up there.
Like the cover is literally the poop coming out of the girl, or like two people having sex while rubbing poop on them. It was so disturbing and so disgusting. But not only can you buy the porn DVDs at these places, they also have like rooms that you can rent where you can like, I guess, masturbate. They even have like VR sets. It's crazy. The interesting thing about Japan is like how they present to the world is very organized, like following the rules, very proper. But they have this like huge degenerate hedonistic side of their culture, which makes it so fascinating that they're balancing these two extremes at the same time. You can go to a maid cafe, you have buildings full of arcades and gambling and just literally anything that you can find is like to the extreme in Japan. One of the things that blew my mind the most about Japan was the fashion scene there. Everybody talks about Tokyo being one of the best fashion places in the world. Secondhand shopping, vintage shopping is huge in Japan. I didn't realize how good it was until I saw it for myself. They have streets and streets of vintage stores. And a lot of places around the world also have vintage stores, but something that separates Japan from the rest is their taste. Everything that they sell in the stores, you can tell that whatever you're paying is worth the price. When I was in Korea, they had some pretty nice fashion things available, but for the price that you're paying, they had too many low quality goods that I didn't think it was worth it. And in Korea, a lot of the clothes look the same. The cool thing about Japan is that there's a less of a focus on brands, but more of a focus on having a good quality garment with good colors. The way that Japanese people have pants is just the way that it sits, the silhouette. It just looks like they've had those pants for a while, they've used it, and it just forms really well to their body.
Everybody here is dressed immaculately, even the old people. If they have a lot of things going on, if you pay attention to it, everything seems deliberately done. And I find that so impressive. I've been to Italy and I think Italian fashion or European fashion in general is quite nice, but I feel like there's not a lot of differences in terms of like what people consider good fashion. Whereas here in Japan, you kind of have a mix of everything. You have the business people that dress really well, but then you have different grunge styles, you have emo style, you have streetwear, you have the best of all worlds. And I think if you visited Japan, undeniably the fashion here is #1 in the world.
A lot of people will say Paris Paris, London, New York are the best. And I would agree with that, but I think those brands are way expensive for trying to find something really high quality. Whereas in Japan, I think the pricing is a little more reasonable and wearing good clothes is a lot more accessible to the average person. So you definitely want to go to Japan with an empty luggage because I guarantee you're going to shop a lot. Which is why I'm excited to share today's partner, Level 8 Luggage. Level 8 has tons of amazing options with beautiful designs and colors. I ended up getting the free loop luggage in green. I personally love the old school vintage look. The inside is extremely beautiful and high quality. And I love how they have this Velcro strap design instead of a buckle to close your luggage. I love how lightweight it is, but I've personally received a lot of compliments because of the color and the design. Another one of my favorites is the Gibraltar aluminum carry-on, which is their top of the line luggage. I have to say that the design is so classy and the high quality material is definitely worth the price. If you're looking for a more practical luggage, they have the Roadrunner. I like that it has a laptop case in front of it. It is made with strong materials, has 360 wheels, and most importantly, wide handles. All products come with a lifetime warranty, so you never have to worry about it breaking. They also offer free shipping to US, Canada, and Europe. If you guys are interested in improving your luggage game, check out the website and use code whereswes for 10% off. You can also click on the link that I will put in the pinned comment and the description down below. So something about the Japanese mentality that I like a lot is that they focus on doing the simple things correct. If you look at how their food is set up, there's not a ton of diversity. It's kind of, you can say basic, like rice and curry, rice and chicken, different kinds of ramen.
The sushi is just a fish with like a minor tasting sauce and really well done rice. The quality of the fish and the quality of the rice is what dictates how good the sushi is.
But they focus more on having high quality ingredients. And if you have high quality fish, you don't need any of the extra sauce. You just want to enjoy the fish, and the soy sauce gives it just a little bit of flavor. And I really love that the Japanese people take a lot of pride in artisanship, whether it be food or clothes or any of the things that they do. You're never gonna get anything that's like super bad quality in Japan. And I think it's because the people take pride in whatever they do. If they're a fisherman, if they're a sushi chef, there's no societal stigma saying that that's like a lower end job. People do those jobs proudly, and I really admire that. And I think that mindset of doing something well, doesn't matter how small it is, really permeates throughout the society. So to achieve this level of safety, you have to have rules and order in the society. Something that was really shocking to me is that in Japan, there are just so many rules. And yes, you can argue that most of them are common sense, but I found that a lot of the rules were also kind of confusing. If you're on the metro, if you're on the escalator, if you're just walking everywhere, just pay attention to the signs or stickers that you'll see everywhere. You'll find that there's like a rule for everything. Let's say you go up an escalator, you have to stand in a certain way, on a certain side, and if you don't, people will get mad at you. So it could be a little overwhelming if you come from a country that's a little more free. For example, coming from maybe Vietnam or Mexico or Colombia, right? A lot of the Latin American countries are a little more loose. And you go to Japan, everything has to be like this. You have to follow the rules.
When the crosswalk thing is red, people usually don't cross the streets. Everybody waits their turn. And when you're walking down the street, there's like a ton of people here, right? But it's like an organized chaos and everybody seems to always follow the rules.
I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I think it depends on how you like to live. To me, I think Japan is just a little too strict for me. I think Poland is like the perfect balance of rules and freedom. And then as you go to more of the third world countries, you have a lot more freedom. Just the amount of rules and how specific they were to specific things, that definitely blew my mind. Japan is a warrior culture. That's where the samurais and the ninjas, all of them come from. And something that has maintained true throughout all of the generations is this idea of honor and duty and respect.
Everybody steps out of the way for other people. People are very conscious of other people. And this is what I love about East Asian cultures is that their manners are very, very good. Because when everybody is trying to be of service to others, it just makes for a better experience. Rather than in a place like New York where it's super, super crowded. US is unfortunately kind of a selfish culture. Everybody's kind of out for themselves. And Colombia, unfortunately, is kind of the same too.
And something that I do like about Japanese people too is that they have to do the right thing because doing the wrong thing is just seen very poorly by other people. Like saving face in a lot of ways. I think that's an overall good thing, actually. You know, I think it keeps people in check. And if the society encourages you to act in a right way, the honorable way, the dutiful way, I think that's overall beneficial for society. And I think that's one of the reasons why Japan is also so safe. If you guys are enjoying this video, please give it a like, consider subscribing, and if you want to support the channel, please consider becoming a channel member or supporting my Patreon. Japanese technology is so fascinating to me because in some ways they are extremely advanced. The innovation for video games is huge in Japan. People love to game there, and these huge buildings with clothing stores or electronic stores, it's such a unique, chaotic experience going into one of these big department stores. But then they also still use fax machines. They also use mainly cash, right? Like most countries in the world now, they accept card everywhere. You can even say that their mentality and societal mentality can be behind and not very modern in some ways, but it's just a completely different culture. One of the most controversial things about Japan is the fact that they put their own citizens first. I don't think this is controversial, but nowadays saying that is very controversial. Japan was very isolationist for a very long time, and they, very similar to many countries around the world, have this mentality that it doesn't matter where you're from. Even if you speak Japanese, if you're a foreigner, you're always going to be a foreigner and you're never going to be Japanese. And Japanese people take the priority compared to non-citizens. Some people, especially in the West, may get offended by this, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, because to a certain extent, you need a homogeneous population to promote order and rules. Like in America, we have people from all over the world with a bunch of different cultures. How do you get all of them to unite and conform and to follow the rules? Which rules do we follow? Do we follow Arab rules or Asian rules or Latino rules? Whereas in Japan, because it's a homogeneous society, the rules and the societal order is a lot more defined. And I feel like it's a lot easier to assimilate to cultures like that because the culture has already been established and you as a foreigner are not going to go in there and change it. Japan is going through a lot of problems right now, especially with the low birth rate. Korea is going through this as well. So I'm not saying that it's perfect. It also comes with a bunch of different issues. But in general, I do think there's a correlation between why Japan is so clean and safe and them having a very nationalistic Japan over everything mentality.
I think Japanese women are some of the most beautiful women in Asia, if not the world. And it's not just from a physical standpoint why they're so attractive. There is a performative femininity in terms of the way that they do their makeup, the way they walk, the way that they act, and specifically the way that they dress. I think in the West, sexiness is about how much you can outwardly portray your sex appeal, having a nice body, and dressing in revealing clothing, and just being sexy to the world. The beauty standard in Japan is very much kawaii, and there's like a gentleness and softness about Japanese women in the way that they act, in the way that they move, and just the way that you interact with them that makes them very attractive.
Asian people in general were like small and petite. I think Japanese girls, there's a lot of them that also have curves, which is also really nice. And I think their beauty standards, especially in the porn scene, they really like the big boobs. I wonder if a lot of women try to conform to that beauty standard. I feel like in Japan, the gender roles are quite defined, where the man is the man and the woman is the woman.
There's also a surprising number of trans people walking around everywhere.
Trans people were like old guys just wearing a wig and a little bit of lipstick, but you can still tell it was a guy. I'm just like, come on, be like the Thai people and try a little harder. Like at least try to look like a girl. Yeah. But there are some areas in the city, particularly I think next to brothels, where you will find just random old men dressed as women just hanging out on the street. And I wonder if they're prostitutes as well or what's the deal with that. I wonder how Japan views trans people though. Like I didn't see enough to know if it's a normal thing in society. Thailand and the Philippines are very open to trans people, but a lot of the like the lady boys look better than the actual women. Out of all the places in the world, I think Southeast Asia does LGBT the best because it's not really in your face, right? It's like you have a boy, you have a girl, you have gay people, you have lady boys, and they're just regular people like everyone else. No need to make a big deal out of it, make them a protected class, any of that. It's a topic of a different day. So because Japan is so populated, everything there is like super small. You have to get accustomed to small spaces. And I'm very pleased with the way that Japanese people have been able to make use of small spaces. Like if you go to any of the hotel rooms are going to be tiny. So they found a way to give you everything that you need from a hotel room in such a small space. Like if you come from the US where everything is super big and very spacious, you might be shocked at the amount of space that they give you. Everything is super tiny. That's just Japanese engineering for you. It's really nice. There's a lot of hype around the convenience stores in Japan, and I definitely think they live up to the hype. Most of them are 24 hours. That's something that I wish, like in the US, if you see a gas station or 7-Eleven, that's where all the crackheads go and hang out, right? But in Asia, everybody goes to the convenience stores, and you can literally buy anything that you want. I really liked the smoothies from the 7-Elevens in Japan. Those are really good. They also sell food, they sell coffee. You can go and print stuff and fax stuff if you need to. The 7-Elevens are literally the one-stop shop for everything. I really love how convenient they are. with all the hype around Japanese food, all the food is good, especially the fast food. I thought the fast food in Japan was surprisingly some of the best in the world because it's above average quality, very healthy, very fast, quite affordable. The salad is so good with like the ginger dressing or the sesame dressing. Oh my god, it's like I can eat that every single day. But because their fast food is already so good, I found that the high-end steakhouses or the high-end sushi, for the price that you pay, it's like a 2x or 3x price difference between the regular fast food stuff, but you don't get like a huge increase in quality. It's very much diminishing returns. I went to this really fancy cutlet house with my parents and it was like 3x the price of cutlet that you'll find on the street. And sure, the meat was like higher quality, but I didn't think the experience was 3x as good as what you can find on the street. And I think Japan suffers with that. Anything that's super expensive in Japan, you can find street food or mom and pop restaurant that sells something of a very similar quality for like half the price. So I don't know if I would say Japan is the best place for like high-end luxury eating. I don't know, maybe you guys had a different experience. That's just what I noticed. Japanese people do drink and smoke quite a lot. In Japan, I don't think the women smoke as much though. I think I saw a few vapes here and there, but for the most part, it's the men that are smoking. Whereas in Korea, the men and women were smoking. Drinking culture is really big in East Asia. There's a lot of drunk people.
One of the things that Japan does extraordinarily well is beer. In my opinion, Japanese beer is some of the best beer in the world. Today, I ordered this Suntory. I don't think I've ever had it before. This one's more of a Pilsner because it's got a little bit more of a bitter aftertaste. But something that I like about Japanese beer is that for the most part, they're light, they're extremely flavorful, crisp. I find that a lot of European beers are quite heavy, especially if they're from draft. It's some of the best beer that I've ever had in my life.
It has like everything that I would want from a beer, and the carbonation is almost always really good too. And Kirin, Sapporo, all of them I think are of very high quality. I highly recommend that you guys watch this video next. What do you guys think? Let me know down below, and I will see you on the next one.